Stop whatever you were gonna do, cause it's time for Nick and the crew to tell you all the lore that you never knew about your favorite media, my dude. Stuff you're too lazy to look up, Nick and the boys gonna hook you up. From Halo and Batman to religious stuff, Lorecast is starting, so shut the hell up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Lorecast. My name is Original Nick. Today we are going over Dragon Age Origins Awakening. Like I said, this is the one that I would consider almost a second game, considering the fact that it took me 13 hours to beat, with one of those or two of those probably where I forgot to turn it off. But it was a fantastic DLC. It's a massive DLC. Considering that I can beat Halo 3 in about 5 to 6 hours, so AAA games, their stories can be beaten within one day. I mean, you technically could sit down and play for Dragon Age all day. It's what I used to do back when I didn't have, a job. Miss those days. So Dragon Age Origins Awakening is the DLC, the big one. I went over all the other DLCs because they were smaller. This one is massive in comparison. So in Origins Awakening, what happens is all the decisions you made from the Dragon Age Origins carry over, with actually only one character being a playable companion again, and that's Oghren. Oghren, the warrior class dwarf. Everyone else doesn't make an appearance except for one, Alistair. At least in Alistair. In my case, he's the king, so he showed up for a brief cameo. Other than that, I didn't see anyone else except for the end card. My romance was confirmed. So I was still the dwarf commoner, Kalra Bakra. I forget my name every time. So I have now become the Grey Warden commander. The thing is, it's so interesting. It ties back very well to the to Dragon Age Origins, the original. What happens is after you kill Hal, the Tim Curry character, we take over his land in the Arling of Amaranthine, which is right outside of Denerim, up in the top right corner of the map. It's even further right. So you can't go back to the rest of Ferelden. You're stuck in this little Arling of Amaranthine. And when we get there, we're going to Vigil's Keep. It is, like I just said, it was the Hal land. Now it's becoming a Grey Warden, a stronghold, pretty much. So when we get there, all of these Grey Wardens from Orlais, so these Orlesian Grey Wardens are coming in, and they're being slaughtered when I come in. We meet this one girl, I forget her name. She's a temporary companion, basically. So she comes with us. She's like a, sir as an S-E-R, knight. So she comes with us, and we get there, and then halfway through I meet Anders, who is a mage. I like Anders. He's a cool guy. And then when we're almost to the end of the beginning, we get Oghren. And once we get to the end of the opening act, we see Darkspawn there. And before, the Darkspawn only talked in grunts, screams, and shrieks. This time, though, they talk. The Darkspawn talk. They, through the magic of the Architect, who is one of the factions. It's a two warring factions. It's basically, if you ever play Gears of War 2, there's a scene, that's like one of the main arcs is there are two camps of locusts. You have the ones who are the Lambent, which are infected with emulsion, and then the regular ones who are still loyal to the Queen. That's exactly what happens here. So it seems like Gears of War may owe BioWare an explanation. I don't remember. I think they came out close to the same time, actually. Gears 2 and Dragon Age came out. Awakening came out in 2010. I think they came around the same time, so I don't think they overlapped and like stole from each other. But we have two camps. We have the mother and then the architect, who is known as the father. So he awakens in them the ability to speak and have cognizant, yes, thought. So, it gives it a more human perspective, but there is a lot of problems that I have with one of these characters. And that is the architect himself. People, you have a choice to make at the very end. You can either kill the architect or side with him. But when I get to that choice, I will tell you the correct answer. There is only one correct answer for all you goobuses out there. Unless you're a bad character, then there's another correct answer. So after the wardens are killed and they start talking, it's the same thing. You got a couple places to go to. But there's a little extra added thing called a day in court, where the people who were landowners, lords and ladies of Ferelden, are now knocking on your doorstep being like, hey, commander, what's going to happen? You can send your troops to help people, the farm, or you can save the city, send soldiers to the city to help bolster its walls. Yeah. So it's a little more political, not on the level of Dragon Age Inquisition, where you literally get to sit on a throne and declare these words. You're still the chosen one, but it's a little bit different. So you go through 3 locations. This one is, there's another Tig, where you get to meet Sigrun. I love Sigrun. She's cool. We go to, man, I already forgotten. I just beat it like 2 days. At the time of recording, I beat it a couple of days prior. We go to Sigrun. We meet her down in the, down in a Tig. I just said that. We also go to the Black Marsh, which is like a haunted house situation, where the fade is very thin, the veil is very thin, and you go between the fade from the messenger of the mother, the first of the mother. So he's one of secondary antagonists. There are a couple antagonists, actually. I'd say there's 3 main antagonists in this one, or 2 main antagonists, with a lot of supporting antagonists. Instead of the first one being, there's one archdemon. That's pretty much the bad guy. Then there's Loghain. This one, there is the father, there is the architect, and there is the mother. They are 2 sides, so it's like a warring faction. Then the other location is Amaranthine. It's a city. It's basically like a smaller Denerim. I like Amaranthine. It's a pretty cute little town. It's not as big as Denerim, but it's a nice little place in general. I like it. So the first place I went to was Amaranthine, of course. That's where you can do a lot of stuff. That's like the main hub. I got ahead of myself, so after I said that it was the Howe land, his son, after you killed Arl Howe, his son Nathaniel comes back from Kirkwall to come and slay your ass. He doesn't even want revenge. He just wants his stuff back. He's like, look, I don't want revenge. I thought I was going to kill you, but I really just want my stuff. He's generally, I think he's a good person. His story arc is you take him from a mean guy and you start giving him his family's stuff back, helping out his former family. He starts to like you a little bit more, and then eventually just becomes your friend. I like Nathaniel a lot. He's cool. Anders, he's kind of in it for himself. He's an apostate mage. Ogren, his arc is fantastic. He's a dad. but he wants to be Grey Warden so bad. So you make all these people Grey Wardens. Sigrun, she just wants to. I don't want to say this weird, but she wants to die, being forgotten. That's sort of her thing. You also have Justice, a fantastic character. I like Justice a lot. And then Velana. Velana is a mage elf, and she is mean. She's basically the Morrigan of this one. Everyone kind of has like a counterpart. Alistair and Justice are kind of similar. Ogren is Ogren. Velana is like Morrigan. I don't want to say Nathaniel's like Liliana. He's really not like her. They're similar. They're similar within reason. I forgot to talk about Velana. That's the first one I did, was actually Velana's story. You go to I went to Amaranthine and met Wynn. She made a little cameo. I was like, hey, there's this lady that I need to find to come a gathering at the Circle of Magi College, and they're like, okay, I'll go get him. So then I went to the Winding Woods, and there she is. She's a botanist. Don't ever call her a gardener. She'll get pissed off. And that's when I meet Velana, who is being tricked by the Darkspawn. The Darkspawn are smart this time. They kidnapped her sister and killed the rest of her Dalish clan, and then they framed it on the humans. So she started killing all these humans out and about. And that's when you meet the architect. You take her with you to go find her sister. Her sister is being turned into a Darkspawn, basically one of these smart Darkspawn, by the architect. We're down in his little lair in the Silverite mine there. So I convinced her to join me and help me, and we got out of there pretty post-haste. That's when you see the architect for the first time, and he's got Velana's sister, and then Utha, who is a dwarf, who is being turned to a Darkspawn. I am the best at picking the worst, by the way. Dwarf Commoner has a lot of bugs, and also the order I did things was in Awakening is also pretty buggy. So I did that out of order again. But I went from there to Amaranthine, and that's when you start to see like the way that Dalish and City Elves think about each other. There's a little rift between the two. Taking Nathaniel to see his sister in Amaranthine. That's when he starts to be like, wow, my dad was a pizza chip. And then Ogren doesn't really have anything in Amaranthine. You just be nice to him and give him alcohol, and he's like, oh yeah, that's amazing. So we go from there. Every time you go back to the Vigil's Keep after a main mission, something has to go on at Vigil's Keep. You like upgrade. You can upgrade. There's a conspiracy against you. And you have to deal with these commoners and these lords. So once the lords are there, you tell them, hey, I'm going to help you, or I'm going to help you. A night lady tells you, hey, there's a problem. There's a big ass problem. There's a conspiracy to kill you. And if you don't do it like I did, which is if you don't pay the guy to find out who it is that are conspiring against you, they will rise against you. And you'll have to kill a noble bitch. I hate her. Sorry, that one was out of place. Out of place. She sucks. So from there, I'm getting all over the place. Ramblings. That's why the little demon on the art for these segments is crying, because that's you listening to me ramble on. So from where we went from the Winding Woods, and then we did the Nathaniel Residence, the Howe Residence. I did a lot of the upgrading, which is you go downstairs and have there's a Darkspawn tunnel basically, and you got to get Dwarven engineering to close these 3 massive doors to where they can't come and get you. So I did that, and then I paid a lot of money, like 80 sovereigns, which is like 80 gold pieces, and it's really hard to raise money-ish. And that bolsters up your walls, and then you find a granite sample, and then you go send men to go get granite. And I went to find all of these silverite deposits, and what else did I have? Steel, stuff like that, to go to the armorer, and we outfitted the knights to be beefier and more well equipped. So that was fantastic as well. That helped with the peasant riot that happened after you complete 2 missions and a day in court. A day in court is where you figure out, hey, where are you going to send your troops? So I sent my troops to protect everyone as best they could. Then there was a guy who stole a sheep, and you could either kill him or have him turn into a knight like I did. I was like, hey, fight, and you can restore your name. And then there's a noble there, and you could kill him or release him, or do like I did and be like, hey, have him imprisoned while I investigate this for a long time. So nothing happens. He doesn't conspire against you. But I didn't pay, I forget his name. I think it was a Black Wolf. He can get you the name of the people. I didn't pay it. And then by the time I did these 2 main missions, that being the Black Marsh and the one in the Winding Wood, when I went back after the day in court, one of the nobles was there to kick my ass, and I killed her. That was the lady. She's bad. She hired Tevinter Crows. We still haven't seen Tevinter. Or Antiva. Sorry, Antivan Crows. Tevinter, we still haven't seen Tevinter either, but I don't think. I'm not sure about that one, actually. I don't remember. I haven't played Inquisition in a couple years. But I'm getting ahead of myself again because the Black Marsh was the second mission I did. Winding Wood, then Black Marsh. Black Marsh is like a haunted house situation where the fade is really thin, like I was saying earlier. And what happens is there is a baroness who is basically ruling in the fade version of this town. The first shows up, and he is one of the mother's chief lieutenants. He is given the power to rip a hole in the fade, and he sends us and himself into the fade, and we beat the fade version of the Baroness. We meet a spirit called Justice, and in the real world there was a dead warden called Christoph. That's one of the inciting incidents is, hey, there's Christoph there. And when we beat the fade version of the Baroness, she rips a hole in the fade again using the life force of the first to power it, and then sends Justice back with us on accident. And then Justice gets trapped in the body of Christoph, and that is a very weird situation that we have to deal with. Because after we do that, we go back, and his former wife is there. Christoph's wife is there, and she says, whoa, what happened? So you make amends with her, and you find out what all that was. By the way, all of these locations, I believe Ghil Dirthalen has made videos on. Check out Ghil Dirthalen on YouTube, capital G, lowercase H-I-L, space, capital D, lowercase E-R, Ghil T-H-A-L-E-N or I-N. I support them on Facebook. Whoa, I do not support them on Facebook. Patreon. I keep forgetting to check every time. Ghil Dirthalen, though, on YouTube. If you type in G-H-I-L and then space and then hit D, it'll show up probably immediately. At least it does for me. They go over all of the fantastic deep dives into lore. Each character so far has gotten like a big 20-minute video explanation on them. I literally just finished watching one about Solus, and the day before I did Alistair. So after the Black Marsh and all the Baroness, we go back. The peasants rise up, and I didn't have the persuasion enough, and didn't do enough actions, and I had to kill all the peasants. Then when I get in the throne room, that's when we are assassinated attempt. That's when we go. After that one, I go to the Tig, where I meet Sigrun, and that's when I don't want to say like it's not the fade, but it's more like those lyrium visions that kind of happened in Dragon Age Origins. There are two brood mothers just wiggling away down in this thaig. We blow them up. There's these really creepy darkspawn that are like, they have like baby heads connected to grubs. You just gotta envision it. It's disgusting. It's really, really nasty. They're called a childer, yeah, childer. They are disgusting, and they're grubs, and they bite you. So we did that. After I got Sigrun, I stuck with the party of Ogren, Sigrun, and Velana. So that was the extent of my party. I love Anders and Nathaniel, but they had to stick it out back home. After you do the third main mission, when you go back, you have to choose. They're like, hey, there's an attack coming to Amaranthine, and that's when you can choose to take your party members with you. All of them but Anders love going. They're like, yes, take me with you. But if you take Anders, he's like, what? So I didn't take him with me, and he goes, oh no, really? I'm gonna miss out on all the fighting. Ooh. So I took everyone with me. And once you get to Amaranthine, the city's in flames, guards are dying. And then the messenger from the architect comes along and says, hey, the mother has sent some bad bitches to come kill your people at Vigil's Keep. You should go back right now. Because the architect cares about you in a weird way. He experimented with your blood in order to... I forget what he did exactly with your blood. I think it helps with clearing the minds to give them a more human-like thing instead of being mindless beasts like they had been portrayed before. So he really does care about us within reason. You know, we're like an asset to him. And that's when you choose right then and there. Do you save Amaranthine, which is on fire, and there are as little survivors, or do you go back and help the Grey Wardens? I did both. I helped Vigil's Keep by upgrading it earlier. I made it to where the Darkspawn couldn't get through. I upgraded the walls, and everyone had really good swords and shields, so I upgraded it completely. They were all fit and ready to go. And then I stayed in Amaranthine. That's the only way you can save both. You have to choose one or the other, and if you didn't upgrade Vigil's Keep, it's gonna get fallen. You're gonna lose the keep to the Darkspawn. So I saved both with a lot of work. That's why it took me 13 hours to do. From there, we save Amaranthine's people. We destroy all these lieutenants, and then from Amaranthine we go to fight the mother. It's a Tevinter Tower. And it's just like the Broodmother fight from DAO, where she's in place and she's got wriggling tentacles, can summon little more childers, but she stands there and we just whack away. So this is where I gotta say that I messed up, and that is all these people you make a Grey Warden. You make Anders, Velana, Ogren, Sigrun, Justice is already a Grey Warden, so you don't have to do the joining again. Everyone you make a Grey Warden, so they take the joining. But the only way you can't get everyone to take the joining is if you do Sigrun last. Luckily for me, I did Sigrun last, so I didn't get to do her joining, because after I did her mission, he was like, whoa, the attack is happening. So that's what happened. So after you do that, you have to choose to save the city, and then you go straight to the Tevinter Tower. And halfway down, right before the big old boss, you have a choice to make. Do you side with the architect, or do you kill him? I killed him because, spoilers for one of the books, I think it's Dragon Age, one of the books, it's called The Calling. That's when you find out the architect is the asshole who started this fifth blight. He's the dingus. He's the one who started the fifth blight on accident. So I killed him. I killed his ass. Everyone was like, he's just trying to do the best for his people. Little did he know that he caused those people to be those people because of this blight. So the dingus deserved to die, and I killed him. After I killed him, I went to the mother and then killed her ass. And that was the end. That was the end. In the epilogue card, Ogren goes and sees his family because I made him a family man. Sigrun is cool. The Tig is back up and running. Orzammar has like a straight line to it now. Anders just disappears, which he makes a return in Dragon Age 2, so I've read, in Kirkwall. Nathaniel is a high-ranking Grey Warden up until he leaves, but his nephew takes inspiration and becomes a Grey Warden as well. Justice, I don't remember what happened to Justice in the end credit cards, but my Grey Warden leaves the Grey Wardens, steps down as commander, and instead goes and travels with Liliana. They are such sweet girlfriends. I love them. So I'm traveling with Liliana. And then Liliana's going to talk about my Grey Warden in the future. In the third game, she'll be like, my sweet Grey Warden, I love her. I can't do Liliana's accent. It's not French. That would be the Navarra people have like a French accent. Cassandra Pentagast has a French accent, sort of closer to whatever I was just doing. They have like a weird, I can't do Orlesian accents. It's so weird. It's like a mix of French and like, it's got the throaty gutturalness of German a little bit. It's really weird. And like a little bit of, I don't know. I love it. It's a good good accent. So that was it. You can choose to side with the architect, and he'll help you with firing off one of his whatever death rays or whatever. But after reading and finding out that he's the one that caused the blight, I said, no, you gotta die. This is all your fault. All your fault. I'm gonna read the book and then do like a little summary of whatever that is. I have one of the books, and it's The Stolen Throne. That's the first in the timeline of books. I didn't know I got the first one, so thank goodness for that. I'm going to read all the comic books too and bring you some lore on that. These are ramblings that is turning into a series quite quickly. So that's that. Anything that I say for right now for this Dwarf Commoner playthrough is going to be canon for my playthrough of Dragon Age 2 this time around, and then for Dragon Age 3 this time around. So each one is going to be contained within a playlist. So each time I do a playthrough, it's going to be within a playlist. And each playlist is going to go down into different, this is Dwarf Commoner Chaotic Good playthrough. Then the next one is going to say Kirkwall Champion Chaotic Good, because I'm doing a Chaotic Good playthrough. That's my alignment in IRL. I took a test to see that I am chaotic good. And that I think that really explains me pretty well. I hope. So I'm chaotic good. I'm going to do a chaotic good playthrough this time. Next time, I'm probably going to do like a true neutral one where I do a lot of Morgan stuff. Maybe some like Ogren stuff. Well, I'll get the true neutral going next, probably. Then maybe like a chaotic evil playthrough to like really let it out. So that's what this series is going to be. It's going to be ramblings of my thoughts and playthroughs of the games. Anytime I do a book, I'll try and reference where I did whichever playthrough I was in at the time. So thank you so much for that. And I'm going to see you all in the next episode of Lorecast. This has been Original Nick. The opening has been done by the fantastic Devin of Beetlemilk. You can find him at beetlemilk.com. Also, Ghil Dirthalen, like I said, youtube.com/a bunch of letters, because they don't have a proper youtube.com URL, because I don't know. They just don't have one. So Ghil Dirthalen, type in capital G, lowercase HIL, and then space, and then As soon as you put capital D, I'm sure Ghil Dirthalen will pull up. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode of